I think a lot of people would tell you that Gil was very selfless. He was always so good about helping others.
Gil was the ultimate gentleman all the time. He worried about me and worried about our friends and worried about his parents.
He was the most loyal, selfless friend that anyone could ever have. Honestly, he was an amazing guy.
He was just a good kid.
Happy, always happy. Loved his friends.
Always fun, always fun.
I can remember that he and I climbing up in a tree at my house that overhung the street and us throwing bark at cars and getting in trouble for doing that.
He was a football player and he was a basketball player. As he got older, he liked to hunt and fish, and that became his passion. He went to Baylor. He followed Charlotte and I both went to Baylor. He was a big fraternity guy. We were lucky if he opened a book, but
he always came through and made great grades, and graduated when he was supposed to.
Yeah, in college, Gil was just a regular all-American guy. He was kind and gentle, but above all, Gil would do anything for anyone at any time.
He and I loved doing things together in the great outdoors. We loved to fish. We loved to hunt.
He worked for me for a couple of years, and I had a retail business, and he was terrific, and he got into the wine business.
We were introduced through a mutual friend. We got set up on a blind date, and I remember walking down the stairs and thinking he was so handsome that I tripped and fell down the stairs.
Katie was Gil's wife.
They had a great, beautiful marriage.
We loved to travel, we loved to eat out, and we loved wine tasting.
She was always busy. Gil's schedule was a little more flexible, so when Nick came along, he was the one that really
Took care of
Nick a good bit.
We had been working on doing a pretty major renovation on the house that we lived in. And Gil was very handy and was doing most of the work himself. He had been really, really stressed about it, and we ended up squabbling a little bit about some projects that we were trying to finish. And I had noticed leading up to that day that he had sort of lost the plot. He was having a hard time finishing projects. I called him that day and left him a message and said, I think we should take off from working on the house tonight, and instead I think we should go to dinner. And he didn't answer the phone. And so then I texted him a little bit later and asked him again, and I didn't hear from him again. And then I texted his mom and said, have you heard from Gil today? And she said no.
She kept calling me, have you heard? We hadn't.
What they had told me before I came over was that, he's at our friend's ranch. We called a bunch of friends in the area, or friends that we'd always gone to the ranch with, to send those guys out to look for him because we're not getting any response.
It was late in the evening, and we had Katie and we had Nick, and it was horrible when we finally got the word.
The state police found him, and our son-in-law went down there.
And I never in my life imagined that he would have completed suicide.
I think that I was not allowing myself to go down that path of something might be wrong. It was, he's just blowing off steam. Everybody disappears from time to time.
I was in disbelief. I was mad. I was overwhelmed with sadness and with guilt.
Our friends never left us. They just rotated and never left us.
So I think that was on a Monday night that he passed away. And I had had dinner with him on Saturday, and there was no indication at all.
He just wore a mask and he hid it really, really well.
He was just, happy-go-lucky when I was over working with him. He was just, everything was good. And it just was quite a shock.
I recognize now how withdrawn Gil had become. He hadn't been returning phone calls. And he had canceled some plans we had made to get together.
When you look back, you could see maybe sometimes, that you thought, well, maybe he really was, but you would never have thought it at the time. We never dreamed we would be where we are today. Never in our wildest imagination. But we want others that have the passion to care for others and to share with others and to reach out and to let people know, don't be quiet about it. Don't hide it.
I want Gil to be remembered exactly as he was. Loving, kind, smart, resourceful, compassionate, an incredible father, an incredible husband, an incredible son, an incredible brother, an incredible best friend.
Helen Harris found out about it and said she wanted to visit with us. So we came down to Waco and met with her, and she was a real sweetheart. In fact, I don't think I would have made it without her.
Helen was an unbelievable support. At one point, she invited Matt Stanford, and Matt was an unbelievable young man who was a professor at Baylor. He encouraged us to do something. We started with very small meetings in our home. It was amazing. We figured it out. God's grace just taught us what to do and how to do this and put us with the right people. And so that's where it all started. Well, the first one we did in Waco, we did it at the Paul Foster, and Kevin Briel spoke. Where we're going with Baylor is just the most unbelievable option.
It's here at Baylor because Charlotte and Dudley love Baylor, and Gil loved Baylor. And originally, when the symposium was in Dallas, they were interested in being as impactful as they could with the health professionals. It was always their hope that Baylor would be intertwined in this work. We came together and were able to help advance some of this work here on the Baylor campus because that is very close to their heart. And the fact that they have been able to create an endowment that will live on in perpetuity for this purpose is very, very special to them.
After a decade of advocacy, the Taylor family has entrusted their vision and their hope to Baylor. And we're honored to be a part of this as we seek to expand and grow their work, as we continue to provide that advocacy and education for community members, for healthcare providers, for families who are looking for support.
Continues to be a dramatic need for education and exposure, and I feel like Baylor being in the heart of the Waco community, it's our responsibility as an administration to make sure that we partner with the community in this very important way.
We've brought in partners across campus, through the counseling center and external relations, and throughout the community. And just through having these conversations, we can imagine the significant impact that this partnership will have for years to come.
Their love for people and the grace that they've extended to us and to everyone that they meet is just a testament to their faith.
First and foremost, we want to thank Dave Rosselli and John Singletary and Holly and Heather and all the ones who have been unbelievably kind and belief in what we're doing and what we've been doing. Whoever is hurting and seeking help, The arms of Baylor University are so large and so loving, they will make sure you get help.